What's going on, guys? Skokie here, back with a brand new video again today. This is the TKC at R1. This was the green flag. Honestly, it was a little janky with him doing that little hesitation but that was fine. You know, it happened. It was the first start of the race. Shook it off, tried to get going right away. Almost dumped the 22 car there, which is not a very good move, and ended up losing a spot. The team jumped to both of our insides. Both me and the 22 are regulars here at this track. The guy who jumped in front of us in the 18 so we were both kind of like, what the hell? Let us back by, like we weren't expecting that. 22 tried to jump to the outside, couldn't quite get the move done, so I jumped back to his inside, which kind of impeded us both. It was quite a chaotic first lap. And I mean, obviously everybody in TKC is a bit higher of a skill level than most of the racers that you race with on a week-to-week basis, but these guys were absolutely no joke, tearing up the guys who race here all the time. Kid in the 37 is another regular at our league here. He was just struggling a little bit, got passed by both of them there. 22 managed to jump to the outside of the 18, couldn't quite pull down and clear himself, so 37 got to his outside, he pushed him out the way. I was able to jump to his inside too, and then hold the outside to make sure I was able to shove him out during this corner and hold the spot. I was very happy with that pass, and I was really hoping that I could just stick it there for longer. Obviously 10 more minutes in this heat, there was plenty of time for me to make mistakes, and I wasn't too happy with this car. I think it was just a little bit off pace, and I was having to work very hard to keep up with some of it. I mean, it's fine, whatever, like, it happens, but I was really hoping for a good time stay here, and I ended up being a lot slower than I wanted to be. I think right now I'm running like 7th or 8th position, but overall just not where I wanted to be. I was really coming in confident for a podium, thinking I even had a shot to win the race depending on how it went. And then once we got to racing, I just didn't have the shot that I thought I had. Some faster people that weren't signed up until very late signed up and came in and started racing too. So like, I was really caught off guard by everybody who was racing this, and I was just not having my best day either. I had to go defensive early because I just wasn't making the gap to the cars behind me like I wanted to. I don't know if you can fully tell, but I'm getting shoved constantly in the corners here because my car just doesn't feel like it has the same pickup as the car behind me. So he's giving me a lot of shoves, both in and out. It's pretty much just everywhere. But he's eventually able to jump to my inside there. I think he boosted and got like off sequence. I tried to throw it back to his inside, but I ended up clipping the wall, and that made me lose so much speed that I pretty much had no shot at getting back by him. Even if he didn't boost there in that back corner, which I don't think he did, I just really had nothing for him. Even with the boost, I couldn't keep up with him, so it was unfortunate, but I lost the spot there too. And then I believe the cart behind me now is Nathan Lavender, if I'm correct. I'm not totally sure if it's him behind me, but I know he's somewhere behind me during this race. And we are damn near tied for points at this point. I don't know exactly where he was, but I know he's one of the carts that I'm battling with, and he's one of the people that I'm worried about the whole time. And I just was really confident that I was going to be able to make up a couple points during this day, and now he's beating off my back bumper this whole time through. And I didn't know if it was the pressure getting to me or if it was a kart problem, but when he threw it back by me, it really got into my head. So he passed me there. I know that's him, and I know that that's championship points going down the drain. But I was completely taken out of the race at this point. Like, just mentally, I was so like, what's going on? Why am I losing spots? Why am I falling back? I'm sure that made me drive worse, but it was not what I was expecting. I still know in my head that I've got more experience on the track, obviously. I work here. I can still get it back around him if I do everything right. If I don't make a mistake, and I shouldn't make mistakes here, I've got more practice just locked in running laps on this track than really any other driver in the field at this point, except maybe P1. I would argue I'm the second most experienced driver, especially since this track was newly renovated before this race happened. I had a lot more laps than some of the other guys. But unfortunately, it didn't feel like enough. I just couldn't get right back by him. He didn't really gap me. Like, we kept a pretty consistent gap to each other, but I just didn't have enough to do anything. I was, like I said, just hoping he would make a mistake, trying to make something happen. I really needed to hold on to every other point that I could. If he finishes one spot ahead of me, you know, it's whatever. I can usually make that work. Like, it's not a ton of points lost. There's still obviously the Connecticut race that obviously has happened at this point, but during the moment I'm thinking there's the Connecticut race up next, the Pennsylvania race, which still hasn't happened. If you haven't signed up for that, it's the 24th, right? This Sunday, if you're watching this right when it comes out, this Sunday is the Lehigh Valley Grand Prix, the finale of the TKC. Still fighting for a podium in points. Me and Laverdure ahead of me are, I think, 2 points apart from each other. He's in P2, I'm in P3, and then Ben Braley, who is also in some of these videos, I've battled him quite a bit. He is in P1, leading by quite a bit. He would have to do something pretty drastic to lose the lead at this point. But yeah, this was an absolutely super fun battle. I really wish I could have done a little bit more to fight back. I'm starting to get back to him a little bit. I know it doesn't look like a ton different on the camera, but I think I've made maybe a kart length up from when I said like our gap is pretty much staying consistent. I clipped the wall there, which really killed my momentum on the downhill. But I got back on the boost. I think he either missed the boost that lap or got off sequence because I was able to come back up to him quite a bit. But he started getting defensive here. I don't know if he saw me coming or if he just knew the race was getting towards the end. But he started getting defensive, and that helped me close the gap right back up. Unfortunately, there wasn't like a huge lane, and he was still pulling away from me just a tad on the straightaways. So I really needed to make the most out of the S's and where he was being super defensive to try to get by him. And I mean, while I did recognize that in the moment, I just couldn't get enough out of what I had. I was trying my absolute hardest to enter wide and shoot around him. I wanted to throw it in on him here. I got a little bit of contact with both him and the wall, so I pulled over, let him go by, because I didn't want to get an unfair pass. But I was trying to pressure him and be there as much as I could. That probably was my best chance, but he closed the door late, so I couldn't hold it in on him. I think if I had maybe made myself, if I had like declared the corner a little bit earlier, I'll say, if I had gotten to his inside, maybe a kart length before I did, he would have had to leave me a little bit more room, but how we were lined up there, he was really well within his right to block me there. You can see there he definitely pulled away quite a bit when I did not get on the boost that time. I was trying to save it for a double boost because I knew that I would be close after he got defensive in the S's, but he didn't use any brakes during the last half of the S's there. I don't know if you could tell, his brake lights didn't come on. I clipped that wall, and his good run along with me clipping that wall really dropped me back a good another 2 kart lengths, and that was pretty much the end of my shot. I mean, I was still kind of close, but that was the end of me putting really, really great pressure on him, and unfortunately, I just couldn't quite put it back together. We're getting very, very close to the end of the race now. He's still being super defensive. He messed up that corner a little bit, and I was able to get to his outside a little bit, but I ended up hitting the brakes and trying to follow him through on the next corner. I think if I had tried to go to the outside and I was a little bit more proactive, I might have been able to do something there. Coming back on the straightaway, 1 minute left, so that's maybe 2 laps, maybe 1 lap, depending on how they call it. And we were super like behind schedule just on the day, so I was worried they might call it early. So I was thinking, pretty much this is my last chance. I didn't see the white flag, but I just wasn't sure what exactly was going on. So, but coming down that hill there, he just totally gapped me. I figured I wasn't going to get it that time because he was going to be super defensive on me in that back corner. So I wanted to try to make the pass in another part of the track. So I was hoping if the white flag came out this time, and it did, I could try to do something by using the different boost pattern to get to him. I should have probably saved it for the end of the ramp here, tried to catch him on this uphill. I opted to go for a double boost strategy, so I'd have a boost coming out at the last corner and try to get a run in there to the start-finish line. I don't know why I thought that would be a better idea, because in hindsight, you almost never make a pass coming out of that last corner onto the front straight. The passes are much, much more common in the other part of the track where I could have saved my boost. And honestly, I probably still could have gotten a double boost coming back around, but they ended up slowing us down because the leaders were across the finish line anyway. So my race really ended 2 corners early. I wasn't going to get them though. So that was the end of the race. I think I ended up finishing 9th on the day, which wasn't terrible for points, but not exactly where I wanted to be. Ended up going into on track 4th points. So not bad, but alright. Remember, if you're interested in racing TKC, check out their Instagram. All their stuff is on there. Touring Kart Championship. There's a bunch of fun races. I meant to say, but racers too. A bunch of fun stuff going on. Come check us out, race with us. It's a lot of fun and very competitive. Oh yeah, I forgot I looped there because I went into the marbles. See y'all later.